We need workers from that building to speak up, and I'm happy that I have my brother Tristan here, who works there, who wants to tell his story and his work experience. All right.
How's it going, guys? So I apologize in advance. I'm not as good of a public speaker as these guys right here, but I just want to tell a quick story about me working there. I've worked there for going on 3 years now. I'm currently working, in fact, I actually have work tomorrow, so gotta go back at some point. But I was there with Chris Smalls when everything started going down, and everything that they said about having temperature checks and social distancing, all of that did not become implemented until after they fired Chris. Until after multiple people launched investigations, the health department, the city of New York. Up until that point, there was no social distancing at all. There was nothing. Even now, they have social distancing, but only in the main areas, break rooms. Once you go out onto the floor and actually begin working, there is no social distancing at all, because it is impossible. It is impossible to work less than 6 feet from somebody in a building that sends out millions of packages every day. In fact, there's actually a goal right now for our department, me and Derek. Their goal is to send out 8 million packages this month. Not only does, that's their goal, and managers have actually started to work in that area with us only because their bonuses depend on it just as well. When the only bonus that we get is $300 that will be taxed and we'll probably see less than 100. So that's the thanks that we get for working throughout the holidays and bringing all these people their gifts and their presents and their joy. When people can't spend any time at home because they're working 60 hours a week. I've worked 6 days last week. If I can't even spend Christmas with my family because they go away. I have to stay home because I have work the next day. I haven't been to Thanksgiving or Christmas or any major holidays in 3 years since I started there. One time, most recently actually, I had some questions about their social distancing policy and their contact tracing. When I went down there and I was told that their policy was that the only way you could be contact traced is if you had 15 minutes of continuous contact with somebody with your mask down. And I asked the gentleman, I said, that doesn't sound right. It doesn't take 15 minutes for this virus to spread at all. It takes seconds. Seconds. And even he showed some reservations that he didn't agree with it. If you don't agree with something, you should say something instead of just nodding your head and going along with it because you're afraid to lose your job. I go in there every day afraid to lose my job just because Amazon decides, you know what, let's just get rid of this guy. They can make up any reason they want. They can fire anyone at any time. And that's scary going to work every day knowing that you can lose your job at the drop of a hat. The way you live, the money to support your family, your children if you have them. It's scary that you can lose your job at a moment's notice just because somebody decides that they don't like what you're saying or what you're doing. And most recently, I went there again to ask them some questions about the contact tracing because I did some research and it turns out what they told me back then was false. That it was actually 15 minutes of consecutive, not consecutive time, 15 minutes total of contact with anybody with COVID-19 warrants you to be contact traced and sent home. When I went there, I was not only greeted with the gentleman that I spoke to last time, but also another gentleman, a regional director of loss prevention in charge of contact tracing. So, yeah, I did feel a little attacked. That was really quick, just to get some big head in there. And what he had told me was, it seems like they predicted what I was going to say before I even got there. Because the second I walked in, they told me, yes, there is a new policy for contact tracing, but that's only because the CDC just updated their policy. And I find that to be ridiculous because if you find, and even the gentleman that said this to me, the regional director of the loss prevention in charge of the contact tracing, said that when they were told that it was 15 consecutive minutes, he didn't agree with it. So if that's true, then why not say anything? Why not take that extra step instead of doing just the bare minimum to protect your associates? That makes no sense and that is not right at all. I've known people that have COVID, have been to work, and everybody is too afraid to speak out about it at all. They literally tell associates not to tell other people if you tested positive for COVID, unless you feel the need that you definitely need to tell them. They're literally telling people not to tell them, not to tell your associates that you have COVID. The only way information passes in our facility, and Derek can speak to this, is that us associates tell each other. We communicate. There is no trust in leadership at all. And I told them that to their face. There's no trust. We don't believe you. When it comes to profit over safety, they will always choose profit.
Thank you. You lied. You said you wasn't a good public speaker.